Hello, everyone. Tracy here, your resident business rebel, and you're listening to Digital Business Your Way. Welcome to our special limited series, Launch Style Stories. In this series, we're diving deep into the true stories behind launching, what it's like to find your way the hard way, and what happens when you finally discover a launch style that fits. You'll hear from entrepreneurs who've been through, some miserable experiences, those who are still figuring it out, and those who found their groove and finally feel like they're thriving. Because launching isn't one size fits all, and there's not only one way to do it. And I believe it doesn't have to feel like denying yourself to make money or just feel exhausting and something that you have to get through. This series is all about exploring what works, what doesn't, and how you can cut through the guesswork quicker to find your way and your style sooner. So settle in, because these stories might just change the way you look at launching and your business. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a bit of a different episode. It's a more intimate episode of Launch Style Stories, because you see, this one, it's not just a look behind the curtain. It's a moment that really the curtain came down, because throughout this series, we've talked with guests, coached through roadblocks, and shared what it really looks like to launch in a way that aligns with who you are. But something has happened during all of this creation and preparation of your launch style. And something has really clicked and changed in me. So for this episode, I wanted to tell you about the launch that took longer than any other I've ever done, and why at this point, I'm glad it did, because what unfolded became more than a strategy shift. It became a recalibration of how I coach, how I lead, and how I see what's possible for you and for this industry. Yeah, because I've really been experimenting with this container and how to bring the work from one-on-one that I've done for years into group. And I've been kind of playing with this for, probably over a year, letting it breathe, talking it through with others, working it out, just kind of tinkering with all the pieces, right? That's part of my process. That's part of who I am. Some things go real quick, especially teachings. Other things like containers, I just kind of let them percolate, and I pull these little pieces together and just kind of let them play. But once it comes together, right? Once all that happens, and after life gets done interrupting and, doing its lifing, once all that's sorted, it's go time, and things move lightning quick, right? That's the beauty of launch. It's like, you know how to do it, you move through it, you have these ways that you enjoy, or maybe you don't enjoy them, maybe they're just the ways that you know how to do it and how to kind of be quote unquote successful, right? So you go for it with your timetables and off you pop. Yeah. And as I was doing it for this one, it's when I met my old frenemy, frustration. Yes, frustration came a knocking, because the days turned to weeks, that turned to months, and they ticked on as things just fell apart. Reschedules with guests and with people that were, joining in and being a part of it, right? And my own schedules, and just things that were kind of just collapsing all around. And all of this kind of broke apart and then came back together and then moved around. And then finally everything was back on track again. And it was like, okay, just some hiccups, just some bumps, just some more life being life. And here we go again, right? Back on track. And I hit a wall. Not a burnout wall, not an overbooked calendar kind of wall. More like, how do I say? I don't know, like maybe a truth wall. I'm not quite sure how to label it, but it was a big and mighty wall. I had this incredible body of work that I'd been developing, and had, created this great container, the bones of this group program that I'm bringing everybody. I'm excited about it. The people are rallying around it, and those that I'm talking to about it are so excited. They're like, "Oh my God, I can't wait. When is this coming out?" I'm so, yes, wherever you need me, I'm here, right? There's all this kind of energy moving. There's all this kind of fun part. And yet in the back end, every time I sat down to move forward, something just kind of cracked. All of this was supposed to have come out in January. And that's whenever all the reschedules started. And all the days and all the weeks and all the time kept just like ticking by. And, some of it, of course, I don't control. But that was when I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to release time. I'm just going to have to let this play out how it plays out. Because the messaging felt fine. The strategy, it was sound. The structure was strong, right? The container, I'd cracked that code. And after these things started to smooth out and it was supposed to be, back on these tracks again, that was when it was me. I was frozen. And I found myself sending a voice note to a friend and just being like, "Can you give me a pep talk? I'm frozen. My brain is firing, but my feet aren't moving," right? Have you been in that moment when it's like, I'm excited, but my body's not going anywhere? That disconnect, because everything felt too big, like I couldn't hold it anymore. And that tension between knowing how important this work is and actually producing it, it was just too much. So we talked it out and I regrounded my central nervous system and I expanded into like a new level, a new layer of safety around it. But as I was giving that space to settle into that, I reached out again, because voice is one of the ways that I connect with people. And I started to ask this question: what's been the hardest part of launching for you? And reconnecting back to those roots and hearing from you. And I will share what some of you had to say. Finding the energy, getting visibility beyond my current audience, trying to follow all the coaching rules, but hating them, putting the pieces together. The idea's there, but it feels scary. I never feel like I can stay in my brilliance. I feel smothered. And in reading those replies, I saw pieces of myself. And I saw you too. Because the truth is, you can have experience, strategy, past success, and still feel like none of the current models fit anymore, right? Because, launching, it's not the enemy, but the way that we're commonly taught to do it, well, that's where the problem is. We're given high energy challenges and funnels and launch formulas and these rigid phases. We're told to pick a side, right? To follow models exactly if we want to succeed. And everything feels so do or die. And of course, like, we're to blame if it all goes wrong. Like, it's not more dynamic than that. And like, there's not so many moving parts. There's no nuance, no customization. There's no you. But what if there was? What if there were more options in another way? Like having a structure that actually evolves with you versus a strategy that boxes you in, right? And that's what I'd created for others. But now, during this time, I was actually living and experiencing it in real time during this launch. I was experiencing the evolution of my style changing in real time while I was actively launching. It became even more like meta than it already was, right? I was already launching a launch program, but now my launch style was evolving while I was talking about launch styles. So yeah, it became fun. It became fun, right? But one of the most common things that I hear when coaching and even, when talking to all of you through this is, my launch performed great, but we didn't hit this, but We had good results here, but, and that but, that's the duality of you. And God, does that speak volumes? Because every profitable, sustainable launch, it has core elements that have to work together. And this is true across industry, businesses, sizes, seasons of your life, from my consulting to my current coaching to all of these. These are the four elements that I have identified and pulled together. That it has to fit your sales type, your marketing platforms, your community base, and your personal energy season. Because when these four sync up, launching doesn't feel like friction. You're not fighting yourself anymore. You're moving with, not against, right? And that's when the launch becomes that growth engine that you're dreaming of, that it's supposed to be, versus an energetic drain. And those buts, they leave your sentences. There's a wholeness in what you want to experiment with or to tweak and change for the next one that brings on a whole new elevation and energy without any desperation. And it becomes so beautiful, right? And we can dig into this a little bit more if I share probably like a metaphor that you can kind of play with, okay? Because, launching, it's just another name for promotion. Yeah, you've heard me say that 1,000 times because I really like to break free from a lot of this jargon that gets thrown around. And just like anything else, it's made up of strategies and tactics, right? So if you think of launching like fashion, since we're talking about style, might as well think of it like fashion. Your strategy is your overall style. Are you classic? Are you edgy? Are you boho? Are you minimalist? But your tactics, well, those are your options to play with inside of your style. Your jewelry, your shoes, your jackets, your makeup, right? So no matter the fashion strategy, you have options to play with. Yeah? Same way, no matter the launch style, you have options to play with. Reels, webinars, challenges, podcasts, emails, sales pages, right? But the one that you choose or how you actually deliver it, well, that depends on your strategic style. Just like how an edgy jacket doesn't look like a boho jacket, but they both have a purpose, they're both available, they both bring structure, and they both add flair. You pick what works with your style, and you get to mix and match them because the vibe is always yours, right? That's what your launch style does. That's what this program is all about. And that's what I was living in this moment on this day-to-day evolution. I was playing with my mixes and matches and seeing what actually started to fit me as I was evolving while going through the process. It doesn't limit choices. It actually starts to make them easier. So instead of wondering, should I be doing a webinar? Should I be doing reels? Do I need challenges? Do I need DM strategy? Should I write 24 emails or host summits? You know what supports your style, which makes your tactical decisions faster. And of course, then you get to build that momentum and you get to pick the tools that work for you, just like accessorizing with intention and creating cohesion. You get to stop copying somebody else's outfit and start designing what makes you feel powerful, right? And here's another piece of it that commonly gets kind of misplaced or I wouldn't even say that it's like a different nuance. It's more like another piece of like jargon busting that we can go ahead and do while we're talking about it. Because the same way I was saying, like we have these different challenges, these different funnels, these different formulas and all this kind of stuff to play with. That's another important part to kind of call out while we're talking about these strategies and these tactics, yeah? Because a launch is not the same thing as a funnel, okay? And I think this misconception comes from people who are supposed to be the authorities not taking the time to explain it properly, mixed with the double use of the term, yeah? Because you have a funnel and then you have funneling, right? the beauty of the English language. So there's kind of this double duty that these words do that creates this confusion whenever people are just kind of throwing words around and not taking the time to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Yeah. So I'm going to take the time to make sure that we're on the same page. All right. So here's a little bit of a jargon busting. A launch is not the same as a funnel. Okay. Funnels are built for the people already in your world, whereas a launch is both for new people, as in you're trying to attract them, you're trying to bring them in to your world, yeah, as well as the people already in your world, okay? Because launching is lead gen plus marketing and sales all in one, right? It's that beautiful dance of everything coming together for the purpose of showing off your offer, right? Of letting people see your offer and be like, ooh, that one's for me. Everything from brand new people coming into your world and seeing it being spotlighted to the people who have been with you for however long they've hung out in your email list and your audiences and all the places and being like, ooh, I love this idea. Let's jump in that one. Okay. But if your strategy and the tactics you're using isn't aligned with this and you are inadvertently mixing up when to use what, it won't deliver. Okay. Now, as far as the duality of the word funnel and funneling, once someone opts in to hear about a program, they enter the funnel, right? To receive an email sequence because they are now a part of the community, because they entered your world through the lead generation efforts of your launch. Yeah. So the launch attracted them, they opted in, and now they are getting funneled through all of the different sequences and getting the invites and moving through all the different parts. Okay. But otherwise, a funnel is what helps people move from offer to offer that is right for them inside of your world, versus a launch, which is like, hey, everybody, I've got this thing and it's out here because it's a big promotion for something, right? Versus moving people sequentially from one thing to the other. So whenever you're thinking about, am I promoting something or am I helping specific people move strategically from one offer to the other, then think, oh, I'm launching versus I'm funneling. All right. So that's that little piece of jargon break there in the middle of it, because that is something that comes up probably as much as the sentences that I hear. Well, my launch was great, but, or we hit our revenue, but I never saw my family. Or we actually didn't hit our revenue, but I actually enjoyed all of these pieces, right? Those are those little elements. And all of this, all of these things I've shared, and getting to try this on myself and moving through and changing my style while I was live in a launch. This is exactly why I created your launch style on this larger group scale, in order to help more than just people on a one-on-one basis, right? Because it's not to teach yet another launching plan out there, and it's never to force my way onto anybody, but it's to help you build a system that fits you now and grows with you later, right? It's to handle all of those worries that we've heard over the last 2 years. Plus, I don't know what works anymore. I've had success, but I still don't feel good about it. I want to launch, but I hate the way I'm supposed to do it. Last year was not like the years before. How many times have you heard that one in conversations? Because you're not broken. You just hadn't been given a model that moves with you. So I built it. Yeah, it took longer than I expected, but I also meant I got to live it, right? Because that delay has made the whole thing more honest, more aligned, more sustainable, and I don't know, more fun to talk about in interviews and conversations when, you know, you tell people that this launch has actually taken months and I don't mind. And I started this process last year, and people are like, what? You know, because it's not a copy and paste formula, and the container's not either. right? So your launch style, it's a 5-week container that it's built around clarity on your actual style. It's built on a strategy to match your season, your energy, and your audience that you can reuse over and over again, right? That you get to recreate as you need to, including in the moment like I had to do. And it's a support system with coaching with me and all the resources I've built in, including a custom AI model and a launch swap system to help you bring it all to life when you need it. Because it exists because we need it to exist. Because we're tired of pretending and squeezing into someone else's version of success. And if you're listening right now and you're thinking, oh, I should be further along. I want to launch, but it's too much. I don't even know where to start. I can't start all over again. I've come too far. I don't like doing it this way, but I just don't have the energy to try it all over again, right? It's not that you're doing it wrong. It's just that you haven't met your style yet. And instead of trying to force yourself into someone else's blueprint yet again and feeling off yet again, why don't you come over and let's define your own, where everything clicks. So you know what kind of support to hire, what kind of programs to join, what kind of coaches to work with. So you know which of your offers need what kind of sales mechanisms. So you can stop throwing spaghetti at the wall and crying your way through it. To stop burning out and ghosting your own launch halfway through. And to stop judging yourself for not doing it like they did, or for not doing whatever the algorithm or latest trend told you to do, because you just want things to work, right? So you finally feel like you're leading your way. And isn't that why you have your business? So here's what we're doing next. Launch Without Limits is the first step to creating your launch style. And it's live April 8th. It's a workshop session with me. And we're going to explore all the styles, including the hybrids, which is what I am, which is why you see a mix of podcasts. It's why you see a mix of workshop live session. It's why you see a mix of email sequences and affiliates. And gosh, what else do I have going on with it? Well, there will be recordings. Like I pull a lot of different elements together because I am a hybrid. And, maybe you are too. Who knows, right? That's the beauty of it. There are lots and lots of styles that you can be, and you get to mix and match them. And we're going to break down how the style that actually fits you, how does that affect your revenue? How does that affect your sustainability and your current season of life, right? Because the season of life you're in now, it's not necessarily the same one that you were in before or that you're going to be in. So these things need to change with you. It needs to be dynamic in order to be supportive and in order to be sustainable. And we're going to walk more in depth through those 4 elements that we need in order to get that click, right? Plus, the beauty of those little hidden saboteurs that can derail us, or they can make everything go so much smoother. And I'm going to explain those, and I'm going to give you the tips that will really just make it all like click into place. So the same coaching that I gave myself and the same things that I walked through with my friend, I'm sharing with all of you. And yeah, of course, I will tell you more about the Your Launch Style program and how to get your hands on that custom AI model and the launch swap system. But most importantly, you're going to leave with clarity on what could work for you, right? And how to stop chasing strategies that never fit to begin with. Because this isn't just about promotion and launching. It's about building a business that finally reflects who you are, that shows your values, that shows off your offers, that gives you a place to create from and make that impact that you are yearning for. So yeah, this launch took longer, but I'm thankful it did. Might not have been in February, but I am now, because it gave me this space to evolve, to listen, to share this message with you, right? And I want to offer that space to you. So join me at Launch Without Limits. Let's build your next chapter your way with your energy, your rhythm, your voice, your style. You don't need another template. You need a reusable process that feels like home. So let's build it together. TracyPatterson.com, YLS. And as always, all the details are in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for launching differently. And until next time, be well and have some fun. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Launch Style Stories, and I hope it sparked something for you. If you've been listening and thinking, I need to find my way to launch without burning out, second guessing, or forcing myself into someone else's formula, well, that's exactly what Your Launch Style is here to help with. Inside the program, we cut the trial and error and help you create a launch approach that fits your strengths, your business, and your energy, so selling never feels like an uphill battle again. Head to TracyPatterson.com/YLS to learn more and join us. And if you loved this series, let me know. Share your biggest takeaway, DM me, or leave a review. It helps more business owners like you find the show. I'll see you inside your launch style.